Happy birthday to me. Yes, guys, today is my birthday. Well, not today, but the day I post this video on the 16th of May. It's my birthday and it's a big one, guys. I'm actually turning 30, which I'm actually not as scared as I thought I would be about this milestone because I've actually been telling people I'm 30 for years now. So it's kind of taken a bit of the sting off the whole 30 thing. So I guess now that I'm actually 30, I'm gonna start telling people that I'm 40, of course, to start getting myself mentally prepared for the next milestone. But anyway, today I turn 40. Today I turn 30 and I am gifting myself fancy Shaokao. I say fancy Shaokao because this place is like next level. I've never been to a Shaokao quite like it. Check out this setup here. So first of all, we have this like quite a modern looking grill here, and the items come to your table uncooked and you actually cook it for yourself. And at first I was like, oh, you know, manual labor, not my favorite thing, but no fear, because this manual grill thing actually turns your food for you. There's like some kind of mechanism here that twists the skewers so they are constantly rotating. You also have a couple of other features that I want to point out. One of them are these little holes here, which you can actually put your skewers in. So there's no messiness at the table stays clear. You've also got like a bigger hole here for any other like rubbish items that you want to put inside. Yeah, they've got all the spices prepared here. You can make your own spice mix. And under the table here, we've got easy access tissues. It's definitely the best thought out Shaokao table I've seen. I am so excited about this, guys. I have been craving Shaokao for weeks now. So this one here is enoki mushrooms wrapped in bacon. Oh my gosh. But guys, believe it or not, today I'm not here to talk about Shaokao. I have other very exciting plans for this video. Because I'm a big believer in giving back, this video is my present to all of you on my 30th birthday. And in this video, I'm going to be counting down my top 5 most challenging foods I have ever eaten in China. So starting this channel has given me so many opportunities to learn and grow and try new things, push my boundaries, and some of the foods that I've tried have challenged me, but they've always pushed me to grow more, expand my vision, expand my palate, and learn more about a culture. Today, I'm going to be celebrating that and counting down the top 5 most challenging foods I've eaten. And if you guys are also a fan of giving presents, the best present you could give me is hitting that subscribe button. I mean, can we get me to 500k on Bilibili today? Please, 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 and thank you. Hit that subscribe button. It would be the most amazing birthday gift. Anyway, in the course of filming that introduction, I have pretty much polished off all of my skewers. So let's order some more food before we officially start this countdown. So while I wait for my second order of food to arrive, let's get this countdown started, starting from number 5, the 5th most challenging food I have ever tried in China, and it is hairy tofu. It's a food you can find in Anhui province, and I tried it for the first time in Hongtuan village. Honestly, one of the most beautiful places I have ever been to. Beautiful architecture, the reflections off the lake. Oh, it was magical. And in this village, you actually have hairy tofu sellers lining the streets. It's one of the most famous foods there. So the reason for that hair there is because of the fermentation process. And the hair on the tofu is actually mold, but I was assured that it's very edible, safe to eat, and very, very tasty. As soon as he puts it on the grill and it starts to grill, those hairs kind of melt away, and it actually looks really delicious as it's grilling. It becomes like this golden color. It's then topped with cucumber and some chili, and you kind of just eat it like that. And I was not expecting the taste, which is just honestly one of the most whack bang things I've ever had. It was spicy, salty, very, very salty, garlicky. It also had a really nice refreshing zing from those cucumbers. It was really, really good. I really liked it, to the extent that every day that I was in Anhui from that day onwards, I had a serve of hairy tofu every single day. So that should tell you something. So if you go to Anhui and you see this, do yourself a favor and try, and don't be scared of the hair, because when you think about it, stuff like camembert cheese, brie, that also goes through a fermentation process and has mold on it, like they're moldy cheeses. So if you eat moldy cheese and you don't want to eat the moldy tofu, then you are a hypocrite. In other news, my new items arrived, so time to get them sizzling on that grill. And I've also ordered myself the most massive bowl of cold noodles here. At least one thing's for sure, I will not be walking out of here hungry. So let's get started on number 4, my 4th most challenging food I've ever eaten in China. And I ate it in Chongqing. So if you guys have ever watched my videos before, or you've been to Chongqing, you'll probably know it's very famous for being a place with a lot of spicy foods. And you know, I tend to have this this feeling that I can overcome any kind of spice, and I really wanted to push my limits in Chongqing and see just how spicy can it get. So I actually recruited a team of spice eaters, like some of the most hardcore spice eaters in Chongqing. Yeah, they basically took me to try what they think are some of the most spiciest items in Chongqing. I mean, we ate the spiciest hot pot, 特特辣 hot pot. We tried this thing called 热的路, which was also incredibly spicy. But the thing that really finished me off, and I will never, ever in my life eat again, were the deadly duck skulls. Okay, so let me set the scene for you guys. You walk into this restaurant and the walls are plastered with these cardboard signs with, you know, permanent marker on them saying stuff like, do not come here if you have a weak stomach, like stay away if you can't eat spice. Very, very, you know, daunting. The second thing that was a little bit unusual about this restaurant is these deadly duck skulls. They actually give away free to the first 300 customers. We weren't exactly sure why. The best reason we have for it is they're just so spicy that probably if people eat them and they pay money for it, they'll ask for their money back because it's just that spicy. And this spice of this duck head was like no other spice I've experienced in my life. Firstly, it only came on like that spice rush about 5 minutes after eating, which was kind of bizarre. You know, you're eating it, feeling so confident, like, yeah, nothing can catch me. I'm like above this spice. And then, yeah, you don't want to talk too soon because it hits you and it hits you hard and it hits you long. This was the longest spice rush I've ever had in my life. It went for at least 30 minutes in which I was just in excruciating pain everywhere, not just in my mouth. I felt nauseous. I felt like I was gonna poop myself. I felt like I was gonna faint, but it wasn't just me. You know, I went with a group of people who love eating spicy food, and even they were like super overwhelmed by it. And at the end of the meal, we actually went to the chemist to buy some stomach medicine because our stomachs were all so painful. You guys do not even want to know what the next day was like. Oh, let's have some of these noodles, hey? The bowl of noodles is so big that they've actually provided me with like, you know, a smaller bowl, a more realistic bowl size, because this is like a saucepan. I love these noodles so much. I love the texture of them, and they're just so bouncy and chewy and refreshing. They're cold, and that soup is great. It's so nice. Well, we may as well get into number 3 on this countdown, the third most challenging food I have eaten in China. And I ate this food in Xiamen in Fujian province, and you guys might know what this is already. It's a special jelly that you will find in Xiamen. It's a popular street food, but it's a street food like I have never seen before. It's a jelly called tusundong, which roughly translates as earth, bamboo, jelly, but there is no bamboo in this. It's actually made from sandworms. So Xiamen is right on the coast, and a lot of Fujian province has coastline. So there's a lot of sand and thus also a lot of sandworms. I actually got to go to a factory where they make this tusundong, this sandworm jelly, and the process is fascinating. So you start with the raw product, which is the sandworm. It's then gutted by hand, like all the intestines come out. You don't eat the insides, it's just the skin basically. And then it's thoroughly cleaned in this machine to get out any other grime or sand or whatever, and then it's boiled. And in the process of boiling, the collagen within the worm releases and it turns into a jelly once it's cool. It's actually a very popular food in Xiamen, especially among the ladies, because it is just so full of collagen, which is good for the skin. So if you guys are in need of like a facial or just feel like getting that collagen boost, no need for face masks, no need for expensive creams. Pay 15 renminbi and get yourself a massive serving of collagen-y sandworm, trust me. It's a great deal. So I tried it first with no sauce. So traditionally and typically it's paired with a lot of sauces and ingredients to amp up the flavor. But I wanted to try just the pure flavor of it first. And yeah, it was interesting. I have to say I know it's a cliche, but it tasted like chicken. It was quite umami and it had like a little bit of a crunchy texture inside from the worm, but it wasn't unpleasant, just salty and kind of chickeny, as I said. But when you put on all of the flavors into this jelly, it was incredible. Like you can not really taste anything of the natural flavor of it because it's really covered by all the garlic and the soy sauce and vinegar and chili and all the things that they put on top of it. And it's a really, really nice dish. It's kind of just like a canvas for the sauce, much like a tofu. So if you go to Xiamen, definitely would encourage everyone to try it. This is a food that I really enjoyed and I think you guys will too. My potato is ready. Oh, honestly, one of my favorite Shaokar items is potato. I just love how crispy and honestly, potato is the gift for the world. I also ordered another 2 of these. They're beef and pineapple skewers. I love the combination of the steak and the pineapple, the sweet and the salty. It's a match made in heaven, much like, you know, pineapple on pizza. Don't unsubscribe for me telling you that. I know a lot of people have very strong feelings about the topic of pineapple on pizza, and actually as I post this video, I am walking through Italy with my family, so I wonder if my views on pineapple pizza have changed, and maybe I watch this video and be like, oh Amy, you were so wrong. Because I can only imagine how much amazing pizza I would have eaten by now. Well guys, this countdown is really getting to the pointy end now. I'm about to tell you guys what is the second most challenging food I've ever eaten in China. And I ate this food in Chengdu, the capital of Sichuan province. And it is, of course, rabbit heads. Everywhere you go in Chengdu, you will see rabbit heads prepared in all different ways, you know, sweet, sour, spicy, mala. Mala is the most popular one, and that's the one that I tried. And it's not just rabbit head there, it's rabbit meat of all varieties. There's actually a saying that no rabbit will leave the city of Chengdu alive, and I can really agree with that statement because wow, they really love their rabbit there. But the specialty and the part of the rabbit that seems to be the most popular and the most famous is the head. And it's something that I've seen in my previous trips to Chengdu, but I haven't had the guts to try. But my friend Jasmine, who we all know and love, she loves rabbit heads. Actually, she loves the head of all animals. She always tells me that the most texture is in the head, and I have to give it to her. It is true. So I got to Chengdu, determined to try these rabbit heads. I actually give Jasmine a call because when you hold this rabbit head in your hands, you don't really know how you're meant to go about it, especially as a first timer. So she stepped me through part by part, you know, first opened up the jaws, it just kind of fell apart, gave it a little nibble here and there. The meat is really nice, very flavorful and tender, and yeah, I can understand why people love it so much. And I have to say the most challenging part of the process came when I kind of got it by its teeth and cracked open the head and the brain became visible. And you know, to this day, brain is one of those foods that I still am a bit hesitant about eating. It's not something that I grew up with. It's a bit unfamiliar to me. I'm getting better with it, and after that experience, I was definitely a lot more comfortable with it. It opened my mind, pardon the pun. But yeah, the brain was really nice. It had like a pate-like consistency, or as Jasmine would say,
like guacamole sauce or something.
Whatever your metaphor, it was really nice. And yeah, another one of those challenging foods that I will definitely go in and try again. Anyway, guys, you know what that means. We're done with number 2. We are now going into my most challenging food I have ever eaten in China, and this video was actually demonetized and restricted to an over 18 audience by YouTube because it was a little bit X-rated. So for the purposes of not being demonetized, I'm going to be referring to this dish as pipi, vajiji, and boles soup. So it was something I had the opportunity to try in Heshan, which is a smaller city in Guangdong province right in the south of China. And it was at this restaurant that specializes in beef, all cuts of beef. No part of the cow is wasted at this restaurant, which I really, really appreciated. Everything from its organs to the skin, to the face, to the genitals are enjoyed by customers. And this pipi soup is actually very, very popular. You know, in Chinese, they say 吃什么不什么. So a lot of men like to order this soup, if you know what I'm saying. So because it's so popular, it was something that not only was just there in front of me, I booked ahead to try it. I really wanted to try this. When in Rome, try the local cuisine. It was something that I really wanted to challenge myself and try. So I booked it ahead. Originally, I just booked the pipi soup, but I arrived at the restaurant and I got a little bit of a surprise because he threw in the extras. I got the trifecta, guys. I got the pipi, I got the vajiji, I got the boles, and it was a very unique experience. But the first thing we actually did was went in and tried the soup first, and the soup was really delicious. It just reminded me of a very beefy broth. It was salty and a little bit sweet as well from memory, but then it came time to try the bits. So first we went in with the pipi, and it was, yeah, this is my number 1 most challenging dish for a reason. For every single one of these items that I tried, it took a lot of willpower to get it in. It was a real mental game more than anything. Because at the end of the day, it's just another piece of meat. What makes the pipi different from, you know, the rump at the end of the day? So I had to remind myself of that fact and finally got it in and chewed it. And I actually really liked it. All 3 of us liked it. The texture was quite jelly-like. The flavor was not offensive at all. So PP actually got a tick from me, but that was not the case when it came to the vajiji. The vajiji was very chewy, not the best texture, and we didn't love it too much. But this soup was just like the gift that kept on giving, because the experience was still not over. We still had one more item to try. Well, should I say 2 more items to try. That was probably the most challenging of the 3 for all of us. It just had this texture that once you put it in your mouth and bit into it, it just went everywhere. Just kind of exploded in your mouth. Well, not exploded, kind of just bits and pieces went everywhere. We were fishing out bits in our teeth for ages afterwards. Yeah, I don't think I would go in and try that again. But, you know, it was one of those dishes that you can, you know, you don't often have the opportunity to try. And since I'm here, and since, you know, content creating and making food vlogs is what I have chosen as a career, I want to experience it all. And, you know, I'm definitely nowhere near satisfied in terms of how far and how much I'm willing to challenge myself, because I think that it's only through challenging yourself that you can grow and move in new directions. And my wish for all of you is that you can do the same. Next time you go out to a restaurant, I dare you, I challenge you all to order something that you've never tried before, maybe something you never considered you would try, and let me know how it goes. But in the meantime, thanks guys so much for watching this video. Happy birthday to me. Well guys, let's make a toast. I've only got water, so we're gonna toast with this. I wanna say cheers to 30 more years of food adventuring and pushing comfort zones. Thanks for coming on this ride with me so far, and here's to the future. Cheers. Bye from Changchun. I'll see you next week.